Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Welcome, one and all, to AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast and an extremely special episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, might I add, because as I am recording this, it is October 5th, which is my birthday. So at the same time, while we are doing a regular episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, we are also going to go and celebrate my birthday. So I am really hyped up and I am very excited for this. Now, there is one thing though that I have considered, and I did thought about it a little bit. And the thing is, it's not every day that I get to do an episode of my podcast on my birthday. Sometimes these things are actually pretty rare when they would occur. So I try to think about, okay, now this is like a very special occasion because these are like two major moments coming together. What can I do to really celebrate this occasion? What can I do to really make this extra special? And then I realize, I got it. I just realized the perfect way of celebrating it. And this is gonna be my birthday gift to you guys. Now, of course, it's not just my birthday that I'm freaking out and that I'm celebrating. It is also the fact that just recently I have gotten 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, as you guys may recall. In fact, I just posted today a video showing the opening of my Silver Creator Award, which is really exciting that I got. But what I want to do as a way to say thank you for all the birthday wishes and the congratulations for reaching 100,000 subscribers, I'm just gonna say right now, you guys are definitely here for a very special occasion, because what I'm about to give you right now, and what I decided to do to make this a very special episode, is that I'm gonna be starting things off by giving you all a sneak peek, an exclusive first look at just a little piece of part 1 of Animation Lookback Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus. Now, maybe you guys would want to check it out, or maybe you guys don't, but I would like to know in the chat wall, would you guys like to see it? Would you guys like to get a little taste of what would be to come? Let me know. Do you guys want to see it? Are you sure? Because I don't know. Oh, we got a lot of people that really want the clip. Okay, so you want to see it? All right. I got it right here. And just to give you a little heads up, you might also get a little bit of a preview of the length as well. So I have it right here. So let me just go and adjust things up. So I'm just going to go and put it right here. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good length. So this is good. So, you're not going to be seeing all of it, of course. You're just going to see a few minutes. But let's take a look at our sneak peek at Animation Lookback, Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus.
Ever since he was a child, Walter Elias Disney always knew that he had a passion for the arts. Born in Chicago, Illinois on December 5th, 1901, and raised in Missouri, Walt loved to draw whenever he could, and always looked for ways to improve his skills. So much so that he even attended weekends and night courses on cartooning in between school time. In 1920, Disney tried and failed to open his own company with a fellow artist he met at a contemporary art shop named Iwerks. But after the attempt, he discovered a new form of art that would really bring his drawings to life called cell animation, which had a more believable feel to it than the cutout animation that was often used at the time. That was when Walt decided to try running his own studio again by producing a series of animated shorts called Newman's Laugh-O-Grams, named after the main place where they were shown, the Newman Theater in Kansas City, where they told modern versions of classic fairy tales. In other words, Disney's first cartoons foreshadowed his entire legacy. The Laugh-O-Grams turned out to be a hit, but not for long. This began a cycle where Walt would have a short-lived successful series, but once the show ran its course, he would start a new one and repeat the process, all while moving to Hollywood in 1923 after the end of the Laugh-O-Grams, where on October 16th, he and his brother Roy O. Disney opened a new company called the Disney Brothers Studio. The cycle began with Laugh-O-Grams, then there was the Alice comedies, which featured a live-action girl in a cartoon world. Then 4 years later came Walt's first cartoon star, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. It was going well with Oswald, but then a year later in 1928, Walt got screwed over by his producer Charles Mintz by taking Oswald, which was owned by its distributor Universal Pictures, and most of his animators away from him after refusing a deal that would get him less pay. So while he was making the last batch of Oswald cartoons, Walt and a small group of devoted artists, including his old friend Ub Iwerks, secretly created a new cartoon character to replace the rabbit, and thus, Mickey Mouse was born. His first couple of cartoons, Plain Crazy and The Galloping Gaucho, didn't get much interest, but it wouldn't be until his third cartoon, Steamboat Willie, which was also Disney's first sound cartoon, where Mickey found a distributor and became a phenomenon on November 18th, 1928. From there, Disney quickly climbed up the ranks to become the top animation studio of the industry with the help of Mickey Mouse and a new series called Silly Symphonies, which allowed the studio to experiment and try new things with the medium, starting with 1929's The Skeleton Dance. However, in 1934, despite already making new achievements in animation and creating more beloved characters like Donald Duck, Goofy, and the Three Little Pigs, Walt wanted to create something bigger, something more ambitious, something that no one in Hollywood had ever attempted before. So he gathered up many of his crew and announced his plans to make his next big cartoon. And when he said big, he meant feature length. This was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first ever animated feature in America. It's the story of...
And that is your little clip that you got over there. So yeah, that's pretty much what you got. This is just a little idea of what would be to come for Animation Lookback Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus, which, yes, this is going to be pretty long, at least for the first part, where the original was only 10 minutes. This one is going to be close to 50. And by the way, yes, there is going to be some special little animations, and this was actually brought to us by the one and only and very talented Logan Miller, aka Toucan LDM, which I could not thank him enough for these beautiful animations that he has done for this. And just a little heads up right now that later today, I'm just going to make an announcement that if you guys are a member of my Patreon, then you will get to see the entire video. Yes, I am going to be putting it up on Patreon, and if you guys want to wait until it would be officially released on YouTube, then the video will be public, and I'll just say right now, on October 16th, which will be the official 10th anniversary of Animation Lookback and the 10th anniversary of my YouTube channel. So, with all that said, though, we still got a bit of a podcast that we have to do. So, let us go and start things off by asking the chat wall, folks, are you all ready for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, guys. Are you ready? Let's see. Yes. Oh, all right. Yeah, a lot of people seem to be prepared. We're all ready. We're all set. That is great. Awesome. Sweet. Now we can go and get things started. And with the first story that I got, it's finally something that happened that people have been waiting for a long time. People have been waiting for months for this to happen because this was something that did accumulate quite a culture war on social media, where people was either on one side or on the other, and then you see people just continuously clashing heads one after another and see who would be the victor in this controversy, in this massive drama. Well, finally, it seems that a certain court case has occurred and made their final verdict. And it is officially time that we are about to say that Vic has finally been kicked. Yes, the court case that has recently occurred, well, now the final verdict has happened, and now every single claim has been dismissed. So the real winners here were pretty much the defendants. Now, to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, you might be familiar, and you probably have heard recently about the anime voice actor Vic Mignogna, or I think it's Vic Mignogna, or something like that. I'm just going to call him Vic. Now, of course, the hashtag #MeToo movement finally got to him, where numerous of people have accused him of sexual harassment and sexual assault. And this isn't just coming from a few voice actors in the industry. There is also a lot of congoers that do share very similar stories, and this has been rumors that had been going on for many years, even before the hashtag #MeToo movement was even a thing. But Vic wanted to get revenge, specifically on a few selected people. These includes the voice actresses Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, Ron Toy, and finally the major company Funimation, which he used to be a major employee there, where he would go and do some big voiceover roles. Like, you may remember him, like, probably his most prominent roles in anime would include Broly in the Dragon Ball series, there's Uncle Crow and Ruby, there's of course Edward in Full Metal Alchemist, among a few others as well. Now, he would go and try to sue these people, if I could find what's the right thing. I know there's a little section that did state about, here it is, yes. Now, apparently Vic wanted to go and sue those individuals, and Funimation as well, for defamation, tortious interference, and conspiracy. However, now, it happened just yesterday, on October 4th, that now every single claim has been dropped. However, these were just the remaining claims. Literally about a month ago, there was 12 of the 17 claims that were entirely dismissed, including every single one from Jamie Marchi. And from there, the judge decided to give a month-long mediation, and that purpose was to find a way so that both parties can agree on a settlement to pretty much end this controversy off, and just like to have both parties move on to agree on something and let this whole kick Vic or I stand with Vic controversy be over. In fact, I'm gonna go and read a little bit from my source here, which is from the Dallas Morning News, just to find the right section. I believe, I don't know, like the format is a little bit different because of the ads, and like the whole thing is like shrunken down, so it might take me some time because there are some quotes coming directly from the judge. Yes, right over here. Because the whole goal, yeah, and as I stated, that like the whole mediation was for the purpose that the judge wants that both parties could find a middle ground and to resolve this entire controversy, hopefully ending it, and like not just for the sake of like the people in the court, but also for the entire anime community. So let me just go and read a little bit from my source here. Before dismissing the lawyers that day on September 6th, Judge Chup handed out copies of threats and violence that were emailed and circulated on social media against him and others since the September 6th ruling. And in case you guys haven't heard, there was some moments on social media that a few of Vic's fans, like the people that stand with Vic, had threatened the judge because of his ruling to dismiss most of the claims. Let's go and continue. According to the transcript from the September 17th meeting, Chup noted that he wanted to make sure both sides were aware of the potential danger and said, "This is real life stuff. This isn't an anime cartoon or something like that, and I don't know if people can distinguish between the two." He told the lawyers, "Y'all may owe a duty to this community, since y'all clients are a part of it, to try to get this case worked out. Before I rule the rest of it," Chup told the lawyers, "I'd rather you try to get this worked out. I think y'all have the opportunity to heal the community by doing something that y'all can agree on, as opposed to having me do something, and then y'all having it to appeal it. This court could go on for years. Unfortunately, though, and what seems to be the case, that did not happen, so Chup has no choice but to pretty much dismiss all 17 claims. And not just dismissing them with prejudice. So that pretty much means right now that Vic and his lawyers can no longer go after any of these people. He can no longer go after Monica, he can no longer go after Jamie, he can no longer go after Ron, and he can no longer go after Ron, go after Ron and go after Funimation. So where does this leave Vic in the situation? Where does that leave him in this scenario? Well, it does state here that the voice actor's legal firm is apparently backed by a GoFundMe war chest, which has reached, I can pretty much confirm now that it has reached $250,000, $250,000, since Minnesota lawyer Nick Recchietta opened it in February. But even that large sum may not cover all the plaintiff's costs. Next up for the court is to sort out attorney's fees, which could total up to $500,000 given the multiple defendants and their legal representation and mandatory sanctions. So what pretty much means is that now Vic has no choice, and this is something that he must do, regardless if he has to go and appeal it or not, but now he has to go and pay literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, not just for his legal fees, but also the legal fees of the defendants, of Monica, of Jamie, of Ron, and of Funimation, along with additional sanctions. So this is going to be a massive debt to Vic. And that's pretty much the whole scenario. And yeah, basically the whole thing, to summarize all this, is that Vic got kicked in court. But there is something, though, that I would like to talk about, and this is something that I would like to speak for the sake of this particular segment right over here. Now, I know that in the past, and even yesterday when this news broke out, I did throw out my celebrations and even sent my congratulations to Funimation and the defendants about, winning the whole court case and the whole situation, and even stating that Vic got kicked in the court. But ever since then, I did take some time to go and reflect a little bit. And I know there are some people out there that said that I should be more fair, that I should look into both sides of the whole situation. And I reflect that a little bit, and I did reflect a little bit in terms of my behavior in the past when I would go and discuss this. So this is essentially why that for the remainder of this segment in the podcast, I would like to speak directly to the Vic fans, the people who stood with Vic. And I want to try to communicate with these people, and I want to be fair with them as well, because I know I've been pretty harsh, I've been pretty nasty in the past. So I'll start things off by saying that I do apologize for my past behavior. I am sorry for some of the past things that I have said, and that I've been pretty mean to you guys in terms of my approach. And I promise that for now, I will be fair in terms of looking into the situation, where I will look into not just what has been said against Vic, but some of the defenses for Vic as well. So hopefully, in terms of this, that we can be on equal ground. I want to be more open. I want to hear more voices regarding the situations, and maybe you could have a point regarding Vic that he could be an innocent guy. So I just would like to say that hopefully we can have a truce, and that we could take a moment to listen to each other. We cool, dudes? No hard feelings on this? All right, good. So with that said, I would like to go and continue. Now, let's go and say that yes, that Vic is innocent, that he did nothing wrong, and that all these claims are all defamatory. How is it that we are in this position now? How is it that somehow every single claim that Vic threw in to the court ended up being completely dismissed, and he ended up being humiliated in the court, and pretty much leaving people, like leaving the accusers especially, like leaving Funimation, Jamie, Monica, and Ron just scot-free. That they ended up looking like the victors in this situation. Well, in this instance, I've heard a lot about what is it that went right and what is it that went wrong in this court case. Now, the reason why we are in this position right now, I've heard a lot of people that stated that it is because the defendants had a very strong team. Like, they were prepared and they were all set. And then I've heard others state that in terms of Vic and his lawyers and his team, they were anything but. They were absolutely weak. They looked like they had no idea what they were doing. They were just messing things up one after another. But in most cases of what I've heard, it's pretty much both. Now, I know that in terms of the Vic fans, they could be very upset, and they could go and blame either the defendants, they would blame Funimation, or they would accuse the judge. They would say that it's his fault and stuff like that. But what about the plaintiffs? What about the people that sided with Vic? You know, Vic's lawyer team, especially with Ty Beard, because throughout this whole court case, Ty Beard has been heavily criticized by the lawyer community. Is every single lawyer out there who criticized him wrong? Now, let's go even further into this situation. Why is it that Vic decided to go with Ty that ultimately made him lose this whole court case? Well, apparently, many people have stated that the mastermind of this entire court case, and the reason why Vic decided to go and sue these people in the first place, would actually be a little Minnesota lawyer by the name of Nick Rekieta, where he's the one that organized all this. He's the one that recommended Vic to go and use Ty Beard as his lawyer in this case, and he's pretty much the mastermind behind the GoFundMe campaign. He is the reason why people threw their money, why many people threw $250,000 in this court case, which now that Vic completely lost, the money now has to go in either one of two places, or the scenario is that it will go in either one of two places. And is either A, all that money in the GoFundMe campaign has been entirely thrown into the defendants, that now all that money is going to go to paying all the defendants' legal fees and paying sanctions and all that kind of stuff, where the money is going to go towards the accusers. It is either that, or Nick and Ty had been lying to you. That the money is not going to go towards any court case whatsoever. It's not going to go towards paying any form of legal fees whatsoever. It is going directly into the pockets of Nick and Ty Beard and leaving Vic in the dust, leaving him with literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and putting him in near bankruptcy. Now, you might be wondering, well, that's pretty much, that's a shocking accusation that they're pretty much scamming Vic. Is that what you're trying to say? Absolutely. And the more that you look into their behavior and the more that they're trying to prep up, the more that you see that their behaviors are pretty much exactly like scam artists. They are following the textbook of con artists. And I am legit serious when I do say that Nick Rekieta is not a real lawyer. I still stand by that previous statement. He is a con artist. Him, along with Ty Beard, taking advantage of Vic's misery, of Vic's downfall, and even taking advantage of you, the fans of Vic. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is just look at their social media interactions, look at their social media accounts, and also look at their live streams as well. You look at the way that they are behaving. You look at the way that they're trying to frame the whole situation. In fact, last night, on the day of the entire court case, of what they have actually been through, the fact that they have been dismissed on every single claim and leaving Vic with hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay in legal fees, you know what they go out and say? Well, it's halftime. Now it's time to go and appeal. We already won. And throughout the whole time, this is not the first time they have done so. They've done this throughout this entire controversy, throughout this entire court case. They stated all the freaking time, being so cocky beyond belief that, oh yeah, we're gonna win this, no problem. We're gonna win this court case. It is so easy. We're unbreakable. And the reason why they're doing this, it's not because they're telling you the truth, because obviously, like, they promise you that they're gonna win this court case easily, which it did not happen, but it is because they want to make sure that your time and your investment in the GoFundMe campaign is pretty much all worth it. To not make you think otherwise, to not make you think that it is all a waste of time and a waste of money. They're trying to do everything they can to manipulate you into trying to give them more money, to make you think that the only solution to save Vic from the #MeToo movement is to give them more money. Shovel all your money onto the GoFundMe campaign, and somehow, out of magic, they'll go and win this court case. They'll go and save Vic. And even on top of that, they would even go and say some idiotic things like, oh yeah, no, we knew that this would happen. We meant to do that. Oh really? You meant to do that? You meant to drag Vic into court for months, only to have his cases not just dismissed, but dismissed with prejudice, where now he can no longer sue Funimation and the defendants ever again? Is that a part of your entire master plan? And now you look at him right now, and you could tell that both Nick and Ty Beard, that they are desperate for Vic to appeal. They knew that if Vic doesn't appeal, then their careers are entirely over. They know very well that they have become the entire laughingstock of the law community, and they are desperate to go and have Vic to go and appeal the situation, which means a few more years, not months, but more years of this, of dragging Vic into court, of taking his time away from the public so that he would have to go and do this entire song and dance all over again. They want to drag this out as long as possible to make people believe that, oh, there's still a war going on, there's still a fight, there is still a chance that we could save Vic, and the only way that you could do it is by throwing them more money on the GoFundMe campaign. And I'm just gonna say right now, if they want to prove me wrong, that this is not a scam, and that all the GoFundMe money is gonna go directly either to go and pay for the sanctions and for all of Vic's legal fees, then they better go and be transparent with their fan base. They gotta be transparent with the entire Vic fan base, because if the case may be that they're not gonna go and reveal any form of documents of where all that money went, then we must go and make the authorities force them to reveal where that money went. Because this could be very criminal. This could actually be something that could send Ty Beard and Nick into prison. And keep in mind, I am not saying this to spread some kind of Kick Vic conspiracy, because the real victims here are you. It's not just Vic, but also you as well, because this is your money. This is your money that you are throwing to them, that they're trying to take advantage, and that they're trying to drag as long as possible to make this Kick Vic war feel like it would go on forever. And let's be honest, is this what you guys really want? Is this, like, for you Vic fans, is this what you actually want? Do you want Vic to keep on going into court like this all the time? Like, do you want Vic to keep, do you want Vic to keep appearing in court and have stuff like this happen again and again and again? Because if Vic would go and hire a competent lawyer, and again, in the scenario that Vic is actually innocent, he would have hired a real lawyer, a competent lawyer that would know what he's doing. He would go and completely prove his innocence, show all the evidence, and pretty much have the court be completely done with it months ago, so that Vic can actually go back to do the things that you want Vic to do, to go and appear in conventions, and to go and be a prominent voice actor in many beloved animes again, like in Dragon Ball and in Ruby and all that kind of stuff. But the only thing that's keeping him away from doing it is with Nick and with Ty Beard, who's pretty much forcing Vic to go through this entire court case. Their livelihoods right now entirely depend on Vic's misery, on Vic's pretty much on Vic's danger of losing his entire career. That's all that they could make their money right now. I mean, let's be honest. I really do hope in this case, I really do hope that you are not that stupid to blindly believe that anyone who tells you I stand with Vic is telling the truth, and that you gotta believe them, and that you gotta... Oh, excuse me. Just gotta get some gas out of the way. But as I'm saying, I really do hope that you're not that stupid to believe in every person that tells you that they stand with Vic and that they hate Kick Vic. Like, do you really believe in every... is the only way to get your trust is just... Oh, let's go and, I'll just tell you, yeah, I stand with Vic. I think Kick Vic is bad. Is that all it's gonna take for you to completely trust me? To really believe in literally every single thing that I said? My God, that would be completely easy. Like, wow, I should have done that a long time ago. Oh my God, that's just, it's ridiculous, because that's so far what you're doing. You're blindly believing people like Nick and Ty Beard, who falsely claim that they stand with Vic, that they support Vic and all that kind of crap. Like, so much, like, they try to manipulate you into believing that they're on your side, to the point that right now, they're just trying to collect as much money as possible, like, try to milk it for what it's worth, down to the point that it could possibly just leave Vic in the streets, like leaving him with no reputation whatsoever, and pretty much with no money whatsoever, because Nick and Ty Beard just took it all away from him. They took a lot more advantage on Vic, more so than Kick Vic ever could. And you know the worst thing about this is that you got imitators. Oh, they are not the only players in the people that pretended to stand with Vic in order to take advantage of the whole situation for their own gain. And if you don't believe me, look at the YouTube grifters, and that is right now what they are known for. And you know these people. People like Yellow Flash, Hero Hey, the Umbrella Guy, and so much more. The kind of people that mass produce Kick Vic videos on a daily basis, almost like on a weekly basis, that they would go and release several Kick Vic videos or several I Stand With Vic, or just related to this entire controversy. And they want to try to make sure that they really take advantage in order to gain some fame, in order to get your attention, and especially to go and emotionally manipulate you. Now, this is not something that I normally go and commonly say. I know it's a bit of an exaggerated claim, but I do believe that this really does apply in this instance, where I really do feel like what they're trying to do is legitimately brainwash you. Like, and I know it sounds like an extreme claim, that I know that you already have your judgment that you want to stand with Vic and you want to be against Kick Vic, but they want to make sure that you do that to the extreme. Remember what I previously stated, that I hope you're not stupid enough to believe in literally anyone that says I stand with Vic and that Kick Vic is bad? That's what those YouTube grifters want you to think. And that's why they keep mass producing these videos. Now, one thing that I will say, that, yes, I am aware that some of the claims against Vic, some of them are false. Some of them are fabricated just for the purpose of making Vic look bad. But you know for a fact that there are claims against Kick Vic and against the accusers that some of them are false as well. You know that some of them are fake and that not every single one of them is true. Like, you're not just gonna stupidly believe that literally every single claim that makes Kick Vic look bad is magically the truth. I hope that's not really the case. But that's what they want to do. That's what these YouTube grifters are trying to do with each and every single video. In fact, most of the claims that those YouTube grifters are trying to do, they actually are false. They just fabricated, not for the purpose of just spreading lies of the situation, but to make sure to keep your attention onto just this controversy. They want you to think like how they want you to think. They want you to react like how they want you to react. And they want you to get angry towards who they want you to get angry. So they create all these claims. They create all these different videos just for the purpose of gathering your attention and for the purpose of making you think that you can trust these people. It's all manipulation for the purpose of collecting views and especially collecting money. And there are some of those people that really go up and beyond. There are some of these grifters that would literally do grifting by creating I Stand With Vic merchandise. And maybe it could be the case that unless like all the proceeds to that would go towards this court case, then if they're just collecting the money on their own, then that is obvious. That's like a clear, obvious sign that they're grifting. And then there's the umbrella guy, whom you know that he decided to go up and beyond and decided to copy Nick and Tide Beard's GoFundMe scam by literally making his own GoFundMe scam, by using lies in order to emotionally manipulate you to just give you his money because, oh, I am poor, my family is in danger, I am being threatened by the evil SJWs, which all of that is full of crap just for the purpose of grifting your money again and again and again and again. I know, like, I know I seem frustrated, but I am frustrated for you guys because, again, I just want to repeat this. This is not spreading some kind of Kick Vic controversy. The real victims here are you. And in terms of the YouTube grifters and these scammers, what they're trying to do is profit out of Vic's misery. They need Vic to have his livelihood be completely in danger and be on the edge of being entirely ruined, where he can no longer do voice acting again, where he can no longer appear in prominent conventions again. They need his misery in order for them to go and be prominent, to be, to have people talk about them, to be relevant. Because imagine this scenario. If the entire controversy is over, imagine if everything is settled and everything is done in the case of Vic, that people decided to move on, and you decide to move on. Are you still gonna go and watch people like Nick Recchieta's live streams? Would you still go and watch YouTube grifters like the Umbrella Guy and Yellow Flash and all those guys? Most likely not. You probably might not go and do that. And they can make all these claims all they want. But there is also something that I want to tell you, though. And this is actually a dark secret that they don't actually want to tell you. Because as much as they want to go and manipulate you, they are secretly scared of you. They are secretly horrified of their own fan base. And I know that it does seem strange, but here's the thing. They are very well aware of the destructive forces of the Vic fans. They know very well the kind of hell that they can unleash towards things like Funimation and Mars Girl. And what they are afraid of the most is if the truth would be exposed about them. That if they realize that all they're doing is just manipulating and playing with Vic fans and pretty much doing nothing to actually help out Vic in this instance, where they're actually doing more harm to Vic than actually good, kind of like a Kick Vicker per se, then they're going to realize that the target will now be on them, and they are going to get the treatment that they, like, basically what they're afraid of the most is to be treated like how they want Kick Vickers to be treated. They want to make sure that they keep control of the puppets as much as possible so that the puppets do not suddenly turn on them. That's why they want to have you as brainwashed as possible. But again, these are not the only ones that ruined Vic's reputation. And your reputation as well, because it's not just the scammers, it's not just the YouTube grifters, but there are also fake fans. Now, I could definitely speak that in terms of the Kick Vic side, there are plenty of people out there whom, because of this controversy, it's the first time that they have ever heard of Vic. It's the first time that they have heard about this guy and the accusations, what's been said about him. It's all the first time. Even with me, I will say that it is the first time that I've heard of Vic because of this controversy. But then, with that said though, I think it's pretty easy to imagine, and let's be honest, there are people in the Vic side, the people who stood with Vic, like even some of those people, like it's their first time hearing about it as well. And for some of those people, they're just doing it for their own personal gain. Rather it be for going after the hashtag #MeToo movement. Rather it be for their anti-SJW or anti-feminist causes. Or it could just be for the sake of trolling. And right now, we are hearing a lot more and more about the claims, not just against Vic, but against Vic's own fan base, where now even the media is portraying Vic's fans. Woo, sorry about that. But as I was saying, nowadays we are also hearing about Vic's fans becoming they're just nothing but a group of trolls, just a bunch of group of extremists that would go and harass anybody that doesn't think exactly like them. And that's the thing with these trolls. That's just exactly what they do. And that's when you gotta go and you have to put an ultimatum to these people. That's when you gotta go in front of them and you have to go and ask, you like, hold on a sec. What is it that I want to say? Okay, yeah. You just gotta go and you have to ask, do you go and side with Vic? Like, do you stand with Vic? Or do you stand against the feminists, the SJWs? Or do you just want to do this for trolling purposes? Because if they're just doing it for their own gain, then I'll just tell you right now, they don't care about Vic at all. They're gonna see how Vic lost this entire court case, and he'll just go and say, like, those fake fans, they're just gonna look at it and say, oh, okay, well, too bad, so sad, moving along, I don't really care about Dragon Ball anyways. Like, they don't care, they're just there to make the whole situation worse. That they're just gonna go and make these extreme actions to make you look bad. That they want to go and troll the Kick Vic people, but ultimately they're trolling you. They're making you look bad. So, with all that said, there is honestly something that I do want to ask. Like, with all this, I'm not asking you Vic fans to go and take action. I'm not asking you Vic fans to go and, like, really do something or to get emotionally riled up about the situation. All I want to do is I want to ask you to think. I just want to ask you to just think about this one question. Is it Kick Vic that actually did kick Vic? Like, I know that's literally in the name, but is it really them that kicked Vic to the point of where he is right now? Is it really their fault? Or is it the people that pretended to stand with Vic that are the ones that ultimately kick Vic? Is it the YouTube grifters, the scamming lawyers like Ty Beard and Nick? Is it the fake fans? Is it those people that actually went and kicked Vic? Now, at this point, you could go and continue doing what you want to do. You could continue doing your regular actions that maybe you decided you're not gonna go and listen to me, that I'm just some dumbass dick kick Vic guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. And you could just continue and go after all the people that don't think like you. Like, you could just go and continue and go after the people that are just on the kick Vic side, that they don't stand with Vic. You could just continue going and doing what you regularly do for months, and just go and, like, attack the kick Vic people and keep throwing your money into the GoFundMe and magically believe that somehow that will somehow save Vic. Like, you could continue that. But I'm just gonna say right now, and on top of that, I'll just add that I would not be surprised whatsoever that in the case right over here, I'll say that in this instance, that by the time that this podcast episode would go on YouTube, I would not be surprised if there are some of the Vic fans that are not going to listen to what I say. They're going to immediately put a down vote, leave a nasty comment, and just be on their way. Like, I would not be surprised if the dislike bar would suddenly be massive compared to the little likes that I would usually get. Like, honestly, that would be pretty much common. It's not the first time that it happened to me, but, you know, I would not be surprised in that instance. But let's be honest. At this point, is there really anything that you can gain from that? Because you've been literally doing this for months. And look at what happened now. Do you think continuing what you're doing right now is going to save Vic whatsoever? Is it going to somehow magically make the entire court case flip upside down to rule in favor of Vic and make the judge decide to change his mind on all 17 of the dismissals? Is it going to make the defendants like Funimation, Jamie, Monica, and Ron, like, will they face any consequences to any of their actions in the past? Like, is it really going to change anything? Is it beneficial for Vic? Is it going to be beneficial for you guys? Because I'll be honest, no, it's not. Because, like, you could continue that, and it's going to be meaningless, because people are just going to check that out and just say, oh, it's just some dumb troll who just stands with a sexual predator. Oh, screw that guy. His opinion is invalid. They're not going to care. Nobody's going to care. Honestly, we are at the point right now where going after Kick Vic, and if you're just going to go and attack my video, it's going to be pointless. Because all you're going to do is you're just going to end up hurting yourself more so than you are just going to go and hurt the people that you want to hurt. But let's go and say that you do, and ultimately, you ultimately decide that you just want to go and actually go after the people. You want to have some common sense right now. You want to be a true Vic fan, and you truly want to do justice, and you want to go and attack the people that did cause the downfall of Vic, the fake people that pretended to stand with Vic. Now, there are many ways that you can go and do so. Considering that many of the things that they have done on social media, on YouTube, like, technically, even though that might not be their intention and stuff like that, you could say that you can look at it and you could say that, well, it does break the terms of services. That it, like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and what have you, they'll look at what they have done and they'll view it as a violation of their terms of services, that they're promoting hate speech, that they're promoting targeted harassment and all that kind of stuff. Now, we're already one step ahead because as I'm recording this, Nick actually has his Twitter account suspended. But we need to go and do, like, you guys need to go and do a little bit more. Maybe you could go and just suspend their social media accounts permanently and try to make sure that these people would not go and profit off of Vic's misery again, to have them banned on YouTube, to take away their livelihood. Whoa, holy, oh God. I need to stop myself. Holy crap. What am I saying? Destroying all their livelihoods? Okay, that's a little bit too extreme. I'm pretty much suggesting to just cancel all the people who pretended to stand with Vic, to cancel Nick Riccietta, to cancel Ty Beard, to cancel the Umbrella Guy, Yellow Flash, Hero Hand, all those people. Okay, that is not what I mean at all. I do apologize for even thinking about that. But, well, then again, Vic is pretty much canceled at this point. His entire livelihood is canceled, where you're most likely never going to hear him in another voiceover role, and you're never going to see him in a prominent convention ever again. So canceling those guys, and even going to the level, like, especially with Nick, since he's kind of like the mastermind to get his, to revoke his license, to send him in prison, to delete his YouTube channel and all that stuff. Like, it would be, it would be fair. It would make things even to justify the downfall of Vic. But then again, what you want to do to those people is all up to you. In this instance, I do not condone canceling anyone. Nobody in the Kick Vic side, and nobody in the I Stand With Vic side. Again, to conclude, the only thing I want to ask is just, I just want you to think. Is it Kick Vic that actually kicked Vic? Or is it the people who stood with Vic? Or the people who pretended to stand with Vic? Are they the ones who actually kicked Vic? And that is all that I have to say. Yes, I do have a lot to talk about in this, and I know some people were like freaking out. It's like, okay, you got what you meant, you made your point. I know. I definitely had there was a lot that I really want to say. There was a lot that I want to go and do in order to make things up of like the past things that I've said about Vic, to make things, to be fair with the Vic fans. So I know there was a lot to say, but I just really needed to go and get that off my chest. So with that said, now I can finally go and pass on the mic to you guys. I want to know, what do you all think about this entire controversy right over here? What is it that you think about the whole Vic case, and that he pretty much lost everything in this court case? Do you believe that he's going to go and appeal to drag this controversy on? Do you think like everything is done with him? Do you still think there's still a chance that he could win? Let me know what you all think. Alright, let's see now. I need some freaking water. Okay. Let's see. Every time I hear these toxic fans or trolls crap, the more I feel like the internet has been taken over by douchey nitpicks. Also, which is more of a con artist, Vic's lawyer, or the Eds from Ed, Edd and Eddy? You gotta keep in mind, the Eds, all they do is just steal quarters and stuff like that. The lawyers, they stole $250,000. So I think the answer is pretty clear on that. Oh my god, and trust me, like, after doing my entire research on the whole Legends of Oz scam, I can pretty much say that I do see some very strong similarities on how the Oz people scammed the investors in order to make Legends of Oz. And in this instance right over here, like, I do see the similarities with Nick and Ty trying to scam people for the GoFundMe and to keep dragging this controversy on in order to keep themselves relevant and to keep the money coming, to make people believe that this controversy is still alive, and to make people think that there's still a chance that Vic could win it all. Let's see now. Thank God Vic got what he deserved. Personally, I love Vic and all his anime dubs he has done, but he has done some pretty bad things. Going after people like Ron, Jamie, and Funimation, not cool, dude. Vic fans, he's guilty. The defenders have spoken. He's a sexual predator, so deal with it. However, if you still love Vic, that's cool. That's your opinion, and we respect you. But quick question, would this lead to Vic getting in jail? I'm gonna say I don't think so. I think, honestly, it's just, I don't really see the scenario, honestly, that Vic might end up in prison. Like, most likely Nick and Ty, yes, but in terms of Vic, not really. He's mostly going to end up getting the public humiliation from this, that this is going to be forever on his record for the rest of his life. And I do want to add on a side note, like, I do understand why Vic does have a prominent fan base, because, yes, he is a pretty talented voice actor. I mean, Edward from Full Metal Alchemist is a prominent example, and I will admit, like, even before this controversy all began, Uncle Crow was one of my favorite characters in RWBY. So the guy definitely is talented in terms of voice acting. So I'll just put it out there. Let's see now. looks like Justice has given you a birthday present this week. Actually, the birthday present is more for Monica. I believe this is also Monica Real's birthday right now, so it's more of a birthday present for her than anything. Let's see. Hashtag I stand with Vic needs to chill out as they are being so delusional. They are reminding me how Black Lives Matter would protest and riot on the streets whenever a police officer has been proven innocent or defending himself. This controversy has divided the anime community, and I hope they can enjoy anime. I stand with Vic is pretty big online. In fact, you look up Kick Vic on Twitter, you'll find more people complaining about it on Twitter. I mean, yeah, like, the people who stand with Vic, like, of course they're gonna be absolutely vocal about this situation. And I mean, like, to be fair, like, there was an opportunity that the judge would have gone and actually ended this entire situation. Like, the judge, in this instance, he had great intentions with the whole, putting everything on hold for a month to find with the mediation, to make sure if there can be some equal ground that can be found. Because, honestly, if Ty Beard and Nick actually really did care about the fans, then they would have agreed to make a settlement and end the entire controversy so that Vic could go back and probably actually go and do some more voice acting and some more convention appearances. But nope, he cannot do that because they're gonna go and try to make an appeal so that they could continuously take Vic away from all that, so that they could continue dragging him onto doing more of this kind of crap. Okay, let's see now. What else do we have here? When I saw Vic at DerpyCon, I got a creeper vibe from him. He was hitting on the moms of the fans who wanted to meet them, even giving John Lasseter-style hugs, so it doesn't surprise me Vic was found guilty. It's one thing to show appreciation for a fan, but Vic took it very far. In the words of Eric Cartman, have you ever met my friend Karma? She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world! Okay, so I'm gonna go and read one more comment before we gotta go and move on, because I know many people demanded that we should go on to the next story, and I will do that. So let's go and let's see now. I think the suing of Funimation is a big deal, and that will make rehiring him seem appealing to Funimation, which is a big studio for English voice actors. So if Funimation doesn't hire him indefinitely, that will stop Vic from potentially hunting and threatening co-workers at Funimation, which I think one of the main motivations for the Kick Vic movement. And yeah, I mean, like, at this point now, it's not just Funimation. Like I said before, this is going to be in Vic's record, and considering that he lost against Funimation, and now Vic can no longer go after Funimation again because of the dismissal with perjury, like, there are going to be plenty of different studios that will follow Funimation's example and not go after Vic. This could get him blacklisted in many studios that do anime dubs. And for that, all we have to, and that is a major thanks to not really Kick Vic, but to the people that pretended to stand with Vic, like Nick Riccietta and Ty Beard. Whoo, delale! That was quite a mouthful, and I am so glad that I got this off my chest. Alright, so 1 hour later, after we started this podcast, let's go and jump on to our next story. And with our next story, don't worry, we're gonna go into a lighthearted tone, but maybe not necessarily lighthearted. We're gonna be going into some strange territories. Now, I don't know how many of you are fans of this individual, but I don't know how you would feel when we heard the announcements regarding new shows from Ellen. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me just get rid of this. Thank you. There we go. New shows from Ellen DeGeneres. Yes, Ellen DeGeneres has officially announced that she is going to be making 4 new shows exclusively for HBO Max. There are some that are mostly just going to be reality shows. There is one that's going to be a docuseries. But there is one, however, and that's going to be our main focus. That's going to be a legitimate animated series from Ellen DeGeneres. So reading from my source here in the Hollywood Reporter, and I'm going to go and show you each and every single show. I don't know if there is an official release date on these shows specifically, but we know that HBO Max is going to be coming out in the spring of 2020. But let me read them to you. The first of which is called Ellen's Home Design Challenge. Similar to Ellen's Design Challenge, which last aired on HGTV in 2016, the series will challenge 8 designers to push their creativity to the limits. DeGeneres will appear on camera to provide humorous, colorful commentary on the designer's work. The show comes from Warner Brothers Unscripted and Alternative Television and A. Smith & Co. Productions, which produced the HGTV series, in association with Telepictures and DeGeneres' A Very Good Production. DeGeneres, Jeff Kleeman, and Arthur Smith are the executive producers. Then next up, sounds interesting, right? No? You don't want that? Okay, how about this one? Maybe you want First Dates Hotel. Based on a British format, the show will bring together single people from multiple generations at a boutique hotel for an intensive, tailor-made romantic experience. After first dates at the hotel restaurants or by the pool, matched couples can decide if they want to stay for a second date. 2020 Productions, which produced the original, produces with Warner Brothers Unscripted and Alternative, Shred Media, and A Very Good Productions. DeGeneres, Kleeman, Pat Healy, and Dan Pearson executive produce. But then you also got the docu-series, which is Finding Einstein, and this is quite an intriguing one. Listen to this. Currently in development, the docu-series, made with the blessing of the Einstein estate, aims to seek out, celebrate, and support the next generation of potential Einsteins who may help change the world for the better. So, a little bit like Greta Thunberg, or something like that. It's from Warner Brothers, Unscripted and Alternative, Telepictures, and A Very Good Productions, with DeGeneres, Kleeman, and Todd Goldman executive producing. Okay, well, honestly, maybe all this is not really that interesting to you guys. Maybe you don't really want any of these. But what about an animated series? Oh, yes, there is a cartoon that Ellen's got for you. In fact, this is an animated series called Little Ellen, a 2D animated series that follows 7-year-old Ellen on a series of misadventures in her musical hometown of New Orleans. The 15-minute series, which has a 40-episode order, is from Warner Brothers Animation and Ellen Digital Ventures, with DeGeneres, Kevin A. Lehman II, and Sam Register executive producing. And honestly, this is the one that I mainly want to focus. Maybe Finding Einstein sounds cool, and, well, I mean, the reality shows here from Ellen, that just sounds like your typical reality show with Ellen. But then there's Little Ellen. And honestly, my first thought when I saw the idea of this little series here, I just thought, really? This is the best you could think of, Ellen? It's literally just take you, but turn yourself into a cartoon kid and just show your little adventures from there. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is just narcissistic as F. And someone is already asking, like, is she voicing the 7-year-old Ellen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll just say maybe, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if she wouldn't. But come on, man. Like, you want to have an animated series based on yourself, but just as a kid, so that other kids can relate to you seeing on your cartoony adventures? Really? That's the best that you want to do? That's the best that you can really think of? I mean, come on, man. I don't know. That really is for the sake of profiting off of the fame of Ellen DeGeneres. Like, that really is like, oh, if you like Ellen DeGeneres, then try this cartoon Ellen DeGeneres. It's just, I don't know, man. And I have heard some stories that, and Ellen DeGeneres in real life, there is a chance that she could, like, what she presents herself on television, like, it could be more just an act, and she actually has a little bit more of a don't touch me, I'm a star attitude. It's just with this, it's like, yeah, that really does show a lot about Ellen's ego, that she now, like, she has the money to make a whole series for herself. But in this instance, though, I will say that it is not the first time, of course, that there is a celebrity that decided to make a TV show, an animated series to be precise, but it would go and star a younger version of themselves. We've heard about these before, and probably the most famous example of them all is Little Bill. The little, the one that's like the Nick Jr. series that is based on Bill Cosby, but as a little kid. It's a show that is made for children where it's like this little Bill Cosby that's going on his little adventures to learn lessons and stuff like that. My favorite episode in particular is when the teacher has to go and make an announcement to her class by saying, "Now, children, when little Bill asks you to share his apple juice, just say no." Oh, man, but I did actually do a little bit more research, and it's not just Little Bill, and it's not just Little Ellen. There was actually one more that I actually discovered. There is actually another one that I actually found, and it's honestly a very strange discovery, because this is actually from Nelvana in 1990, and I'll just show you a little clip from this. This is actually called Little Rosie.
She's a clown, but she's no fool. She breaks up Ben's most every rule. Little Rosie, that's our little Rosie.
Here, yeah, it's called Little Rosie, and I just need to show you just a little bit more out of this, because chances are, like, you gotta pay attention to Little Rosie, because there is a strong chance that this could be what you could get with Little Ellen.
Imagination, bold determination. Rosie, the one and only. That's our little Rosie. That's our little Rosie. Little Rosie.
Yeah, Little Rosie. And I do see that there are some people who do seem a little bit confused about, like, who? Yes, this actually is another animated series where a celebrity decided to take themselves but shrink them down as a kid and put them on the show just to have these little imaginative adventures. And that is the case here with Little Rosie. Now, what's actually funny here is the fact that when I first discovered this, when I first heard of Little Rosie, I thought that, oh, okay, Little Rosie, and like looking at this chubby little girl with black hair, I thought like, okay, so this is Little Rosie O'Donnell, considering that she was pretty popular in the early 1990s. But no. Oh no, that is not the case. This ain't Little Rosie O'Donnell. This is actually more, like when I did my research, this is actually more Little Roseanne Barr. Yes, I kid you not. This is actually Roseanne Barr, but shrink her down as a kid and have her star in her own animation series. Oh my god, this thing did not age well, I can tell you that. I can imagine, oh my god, that would be amazing. That we reboot this show and then we see Little Rosie be in trouble, like her mother is upset with her, like, "Little Rosie, you are grounded. Go to your room." "But Mom, I thought the bitch was white." Oh my god, this is definitely a strange animated oddity that we have discovered, and I'm surprised that we have yet to have any of the animation reviewers actually touch this whatsoever, because I'm sure this could be something that can make a pretty fascinating review, and you can get a lot of material out of a little girl Roseanne Barr. Oh my god, it shocks me that this actually does exist. But yeah, overall, this is just to go and prove that this is definitely not the first time that we have seen something like this exist. This is not the first time that we have a celebrity trying to make an animated series starring a kid version of just themselves. That they would just go and just pull that off, try to capitalize on their own fame, but towards kids with an animated series. I guess we on the age of streaming services where they're more open to accept whatever they want, I guess we are at that point. But honestly, just saying this right now, like, it does make me realize something, and it makes me dread for Ellen DeGeneres, or it makes me a little bit more scared of Ellen DeGeneres, because now I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern. Because you look at some of the shows from the past. You look at Little Bill, which is from Bill Cosby. You look at Little Rosie, and it's from Roseanne Barr. Look at where they are right now. Bill Cosby is now considered one of Hollywood's biggest monsters next to Harvey Weinstein. And then you got Roseanne Barr, which she had one of the most successful television reboots of all time, but ended up getting canceled because of her mentally ill nature. Now she is considered an absolute psychopath. What does that mean for Ellen? What does the future hold for Ellen? Now that she has her little Ellen, what is that going to mean? What is it going to reveal about Ellen DeGeneres? That I know she already went through a controversy in the past when she opened up of the fact that she's gay, but I feel like there could be something worse. There could be an entire catacombs that's hidden in Ellen's closet that has yet to be opened. And the first one to go and have the key is the fact that we have a little Ellen. I feel like this is a dark omen, that something bad is going to be revealed about Ellen DeGeneres. And I think I just realized right now that I'm starting to sound like I'm in the Pirates of the Caribbean right now. Or in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, like, ye be warned, laddies, for those celebrities who decided to go and make a cartoon kid version of themselves and put them on a series. For a dark omen lies upon them. Dead men tell no tales. Yeah, but honestly, overall, I'm just gonna go and say this right now that I really do like Ellen when she's Dory, but I'm not the kind of person that would watch the Ellen DeGeneres show, and I wouldn't watch Ellen, or I wouldn't watch any of her live action series, so honestly, this thing is gonna be a pass for me, and I'm definitely not gonna watch something like frickin' Little Ellen, which sounds way too frickin' narcissistic. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you guys, what do you all think about Little Ellen? Or what do you think about some of the other shows that Ellen is going to make for HBO Max? Is this something that you guys want to go and check out? And also, if you guys know about any more TV shows that feature celebrities as cartoon kids versions of themselves, like, spread it out. Like, we need to know more information about this. Well, let me know what you guys think. Here, let me get some water. Okay. Let's see here. I have a lot to say. Little Ellen reminds me a bit of Everybody Hates Chris. Okay. Well, I have something to say. Let me just read on. Think about it. Little Ellen is about DeGeneres as a kid, while Everybody Hates Chris is about Chris Rock as a teenager. I wonder if my mom would be interested in Ellen's home design challenge, as she loves house design shows. Also, take two guesses where Ellen got the idea of the title Finding Einstein, by the way. Fun fact, Roseanne Barr is on the autism spectrum like me. That does explain it. That does explain her behavior recently. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe Roseanne Barr is in the autism spectrum, but I am not gonna pin the blame on autism for her psychotic behavior. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. And yeah, I do get what you mean about the comparisons with Everybody Hates Chris, but that one is a bit of an exception. Everybody Hates Chris is a live action series. It's not animated. That's a little bit different. You know, it's not in the veins of like Little Bill or Little Rosie or Little Ellen. And plus the fact, it's not called Little Chris. It's just called Everybody Hates Chris. So it's a little bit different, and that's why it's a bit of an exception, and that's why Chris Rock still has a bit of a good reputation right now. So I just want to lay it out there. Let's see now. To be honest with you, I'm not really interested in seeing what Ellen is making. The animated one sounds pretty cool, yet it states that it will take place in New Orleans with a very jazz-like musical place. Sounds like The Princess and the Frog, but with Ellen DeGeneres, and no princess stuff or magic. For me, I think Ellen should stick with her main TV show and do more reality and live-action shows. Yeah, Ellen does sound more like a bit of a personality that would be more like that, but... Oh yeah, like with the Finding Einstein, I think somebody stated this before about like, where did Finding Einstein come from? Yeah, we know what you mean. But yeah, I can like, honestly, it does hint out the fact that, oh yeah, it's going to be in a musical hometown of New Orleans. Like, of course, like, I would imagine that maybe they'll try to make this a little bit more of a musical, like, literally jazz things up on some of the episodes. So, I don't know. It just seems pretty gimmicky right there. It's like, okay, what can we do to make this different other than the fact that Ellen is in it? Oh, I know. How about, I got an idea. Let's just put some songs into it. Let's just make it like freaking Garfield and Friends, where, like, with all the Orson's Farm segments where they have to throw in a musical number in every freaking episode for no reason. Let's see now. Well, holla frickin' Luya, I thought we'd never reach the second story. While it does sound cool to have Ellen back into the realm of animation again after Finding Nemo films, an animated series based on a celebrity's youth, not the best idea. Maybe it'll turn out decent, but as for now, it may turn out to be like Bobby's World, to be more like Bobby's World and less like Everybody Hates Chris. Oh my god, it's been such a long time since I've seen Bobby's World. I remember I used to watch some of the Bobby's World episodes, but I know that it's from Howie Mandel, but it like Bobby himself is not really it's not Howie Mandel, right? I don't know, it's been so long since I've seen Bobby's World. Oh my god, like that was definitely something that's flashed back into me. Like, all I just remember is, like, this football head-shaped kid, a little bit more like Stewie and Hey Arnold. And, like, I think it is Howie Mandel voicing it. This goes about talking like this, just riding on his bicycle. That's all I remember, though. Oh, my God. Like, if I need to remember more of that, I need to look more into it. Oh, my God. That's a true blast in the past for me. Let's see now. Well, to be honest, I think I have some potential to see Little Ellen. Unless you want to change it to Little Ellen to make it cuter, but to say much, we don't know how it'll turn out, and maybe it could be great. It'll be bad, maybe funny, who knows? You got a point there, dude. That is true. She is responsible for finding Dory. Like, literally, if you have seen her show, she always kept on promising Finding Nemo as a call out to Pixar to make a sequel. And you were thinking no one asked for a sequel. Dude's got a point. I mean, it's hard to really argue about that. I mean, like, it is definitely true. So I think, let's see. She is also an executive producer on the upcoming Green Eggs and Ham series on Netflix. Yes, that is true. Although that is just Netflix, that is not for HBO Max. There is a bit of a difference. Okay, so with that said, it is now time that we are going to go and jump onto our next story. And with our next story, well, I'm sorry to bring you back to this again. Yes, we're going to go into another controversial story. And this could debatably be one of the biggest movie controversies of the week. Now, as you guys may know, the biggest movie that is currently released this week is actually Joker, which has been highly anticipated, and so far, it has been getting some positive reviews from critics, not the best reviews, but there are plenty of people, of course, that say that it is a masterpiece, that it is amazing, of course. But at the same time, there is also a massive controversy that has surrounded Joker, as you guys probably know. Now, I have discussed this plenty last week, and there was one thing that did rub me off the wrong way, and that is one of Todd Phillips' comments, where he pinned the blame on all the controversies on Joker on the far left. And that was one thing that did turn me off a bit, not just of Todd Phillips, but even like any of my hopes related to Joker. Which I will explain a little bit more later about, like, if I want to check it out. Which, spoiler alert, yeah, I'm still interested in seeing it. But it looks like right now, with Todd Phillips, he really is doubling down on that statement. In an interview with Vanity Fair, which, by the way, I will be reading from my source on IndieWire, he was pretty much talking about how is it that he decided to make such a drastic jump in his career? Because in the past, Todd Phillips was specializing in comedies. You may know him for some of his comedies like Road Trip, Old School, and of course, Hangover. But then suddenly you got Joker, and it suddenly flipped everything upside down, where suddenly, holy crap, this is something that is a lot more serious and unexpected. Like, you wouldn't expect this kind of movie from the guy who would direct stuff like freaking Hangover and Old School. Why is it that he decided to go and make the jump? Well, apparently, the reason why he decided to go and make this change in his career is mainly because he gave up on comedy and blames woke culture for it. And I'm going to read you what he has stated, which, by the way, there's a bit of a warning. There will be some swears, so yeah, just a little heads up. If you're sensitive to swearing, then you might want to cover your ears for this one. So he states, "Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture. There were articles written about why comedies don't work anymore. I'll tell you why. Because all the fucking funny guys are like, fuck this shit because I don't want to offend you." He would then continue on by saying, "It's hard to argue with 30 million people on Twitter. You just can't do it, right? So you just go, I'm out. And you know what? With all my comedies. With all my comedies, I think that's what comedies in general all have in common is they're irreverent. So I go, how do I do something irreverent but fuck comedy? Oh, I know. Let's take the comic book movie universe and turn it on its head with this." And so that's really where that came from. And from there, that pretty much sparked outrage on social media. That pretty much sparked some major controversies where you see a lot of people like bashing hard on Todd Phillips regarding his comments on blaming woke culture for giving up on comedy. And I will start things off by saying this. Yes, it is definitely true that times have certainly changed, and things have definitely become different in terms of comedy as well, where we are in a more multicultural and inclusive society where it's not necessarily cool to make certain jokes that would be deemed more offensive. And yes, on social media, of course, you're going to get a lot of people that will have these extreme reactions, where you're going to have people that will be easily offended in a drop of a hat. And it doesn't matter on which political side that you would be. Regardless if you're in the left or in the right, you will get those overtly sensitive people that would just be offended over everything. And also, on a side note, it is true that nowadays we are starting to see more and more of this subject appearing. This is not the first time that we are hearing people mentioning this, that people are upset with woke culture, with cancel culture, and with PC culture, that they're like you see a lot of these comedians that pin the blame on these aspects, that are blaming these cultures and society, why they feel like they cannot be funny, or that they're ruining comedy, they're making comedy bad, that it's impossible to be funny anymore. But here's the thing that they do not tell you. Because yeah, they would go and try to antagonize woke culture and cancel culture and PC culture and all that kind of stuff. They'll try their best to go and antagonize that. But there is actually something that they forgot to mention to you, and that they don't tell you in terms of comedy. The thing is, comedy is a very broad art form. There is not just one way of being funny. It's, you don't just have offensive humor or provocative humor. You can be funny in many different ways. You can be silly, you can be stupid, you can be clever, you can actually make something smart, you can be topical, you can just make no sense. There are thousands, millions of ways that you can go and be funny. And in terms of making offensive jokes and making provocative jokes and making that kind of shock humor, that's just one way of being funny. There are actually more ways to be funny without offending anyone than it is to be funny with provocative humor, with like offending someone. And that really is my biggest problem with comments like this. That's my biggest issue with people like Todd Phillips making these kinds of comments. It's because with their humor, they're always stuck with that one niche comedy. They're stuck with that one niche element of comedy that they think that's what jokes are all about. That's what it takes to be funny. That somehow they believe it's impossible to be funny without getting someone else completely upset. There was one thing I remember the Nostalgia Critic said, that all comedy comes from misery, which is entirely bullcrap, and it really shows how Doug Walker really knows nothing about comedy whatsoever. So that's the thing. There are plenty, trust me, I'm sure you guys can think of many ways that you can be absolutely hilarious without even offending anyone, without making fun of a group of people or even an individual person. And that's the thing that that's the thing that I feel like it's almost on purpose that they're not telling you about comedy. And it's almost infuriating that really it's more about pushing their own agenda against PC, against woke culture, against cancel culture, than it really is for the sake of comedy. Because these people, they're just stuck in their very niche group of comedy. And what the truth, and honestly, just thinking about it, I actually know what the truth is about why they're going after these things. The real reason as to why they're blaming everything else, that they're literally blaming the world around them for them not being funny. And that is because these people who go after society, who go after woke culture and PC culture and all that kind of stuff, they are insecure about their own comedies. These are people who are insecure about themselves, that they have massive doubt about their comedies, if they're funny, and they're not sure if they can go and actually do the same kind of comedy like they used to, decades ago. They don't know if they can do it anymore. They don't know if they're funny, and they're too scared to execute their jokes because they're just too scared to go and face consequences to their actions. They're scared of the potential risk if their jokes fall flat and people might end up getting upset, because they feel like now the risks are much higher if their jokes are not that funny. So they end up giving up. They ended up bailing out, and they pretend to be activists trying to say that, woke culture, PC is our enemy. We must get rid of them for us to be funny again, and all that kind of crap. They're just insecure because their comedies don't work. And that is especially the case of freaking Todd Phillips. Because let's look back in his filmography, and we don't have to look too back. I'm saying that we should go and start from Hangover upwards. Before Joker and starting with Hangover. What are the films that followed after Hangover? Well, you got a film called Due Date, then you got the second Hangover movie, and then you got the third Hangover movie. And that's it. Those are the only movies that he directed. And you might have heard about the critical reception of Hangover and what people are saying about the Hangover sequels. Those films are literally just the same movie over and over again. Todd Phillips didn't know what to do for his next feature, so he's pretty much recycling the same thing that he did before, but maybe with a few minor changes. And yeah, maybe due date is a little bit different, but it is more of the same as he previously did with Hangover, especially when he has Zach Galifianakis playing the exact same kind of role that he has done in the Hangover movies. So the thing is that it's not woke culture that's the problem. It's not PC culture or cancel culture. It's really Todd Phillips, because he's not good at comedies anymore. He's just not good enough. It's not really the fact that his jokes are really offensive. It's just the fact that his jokes are not good. He's incapable of doing good comedies nowadays. And so he decided to just give up and has too much of an ego to blame himself for it. So he decided to just move on and try to make serious movies. And it's ridiculous because, oh, and by the way, there is one more thing that these people don't tell you when they complain about culture and society that makes them not funny anymore. What they don't tell you is that in terms of offensive jokes and provocative jokes, you can indeed have ways to make these types of jokes and still be funny in our modern age. Yes, there are ways that you could just go and take the risk and be offensive and just do it anyways. Look at Dave Chappelle. He had a new Netflix special where he did his stand-up, and he was pretty much offensive and provocative, and say what you will. I know there are a lot of people that didn't like it, but at least he did it. At least he pretty much went out and do it. You know, he's not going to give up on he's not going to let PC culture be an obstacle. He could just go and do it. And there are ways that you actually can be offensive and provocative and still be funny. A great example, look at Taika Waititi. In his latest film, Jojo Rabbit, he's literally parading around dressed up as Hitler, and people love it. Even woke culture, even SJWs are in love with what Taika Waititi is doing. And right now, he's pretty much making fun of Todd Phillips, where, like, making these dumb comments. Like, you probably saw the tweet, he was there like, oh, he funny. So that's the thing, man. Really, it's not. So overall, with this scenario, it's not really woke culture that's the problem. It's not PC culture. It's not cancel culture. It's nothing like that. When people complain about society and culture not making them funny anymore, it is because they are too insecure about their comedies and they are too scared to admit that they are just not funny anymore, that their material is just not good enough for the modern age. It's just not good enough in general anymore. It's just not funny people who are complaining that they can no longer be funny. And I just want to make a big statement right now. I know there are some people that might think that because I'm really going hard on Todd Phillips, that I'm not interested in seeing Joker. I do. I'm still highly interested in checking it out. I've heard a lot of great things, and I'm still intrigued. I really want to see for myself how the Joker movie really is, you know? I really like the Joker as a character, and I want to check out, like, how it is. It's just, if I do see Joker, I might have to go and separate the art from the artist, because I'll just say right now, if Todd Phillips continues his whiny little attitude about complaining about, oh, PC culture and woke culture has ruined me and my comedies, like, if he's gonna be so if he's gonna keep this over-dramatic shtick about it, then it's not gonna matter how good Joker is. This dude won't have much of a career afterwards if he's gonna keep on acting like a white privileged brat that's just offended of the fact that he cannot be insulting, or he cannot be as provocative without facing consequences to his actions. So with that said, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to go and ask you guys, what do you all think about the statement that Todd Phillips has said? Do you guys actually agree with him? Do you disagree with him? I want to know about what you all think. Let me know. Let's see now. Let's see now. Oh, okay, this is interesting. In the words of Duckman, Comedy should provoke, blast through prejudices, and challenge preconceptions. Humor can hurt, even alienate, but the risk is better than the alternative. And steady diet of unconscious, child-proof, flavorless mush. Demand to be challenged, demand to be offended, demand to be threatened like thinking, reasoning adults, and raise your children to be the same. Don't let comedians, a network, and congressional committee, or an evil genius take away your freedom to laugh at whatever you want. And you know the thing is that these people complaining about woke culture and people like Todd Phillips, they're forgetting the words of Duckman. I mean, if you want to be offensive, just freaking do it, man. Like, really, don't just sit there and continuously whine about your freaking bullcrap. Just freaking do it. Like, why are you letting things hold back? Like, it is going to be, like, trust me, yes, because of PC culture, it is a bit more of a risk, but if the risk pays off, it's going to pay off very well. So just shut up. Like, honestly, stop complaining about PC culture and just freaking do it, dude. That's all we're asking. Okay, let's see now. Let's see. I feel like people saying you can't make a film about Joker are denying a lot of potential and stories. If creators had that rule, we wouldn't have series like Dexter. We wouldn't have novels like You, Pale Fire, and A Clockwork Orange. The villain protagonist trope would be virtually good. Oh, absolutely. Like, honestly, I'm kind of like in the opposite of what you're thinking. Like, I'm pretty much in the mindset of, how is it that we not have a Joker movie? Like, it's been such a while. Like, if we already had a Cat movie, then how the fridge have we not have a Joker movie? I just want to state that right now. And if Sony can be very successful with Venom, regardless of how you think it is, then I'm sure Warner Brothers can be pretty successful and can find a way to do a great job with Joker. Let's see now. You bring up a lot of good points here, Animat. He should make that comedy. Those SJWs should not stop him. Some more news has made videos on the claim that celebrities are being canceled and why it's wrong. I feel like people are saying you can't make a film about Joker are denying a lot of potential and oh, wait a minute. Oh, crap, you're the same person. Oh, crap, I did not realize that. You just need to add some extra things. Okay, wow, that is unexpected. Well, I guess I read your full comment then. Let's see. I just got back from watching Joker, and without spoilers, I thought it was somewhat good. Need to watch the movie the second time to get what I like and dislike. Anyways, for Todd Phillips, I thought his comments were stupid. I don't know what he's thinking, but he shouldn't be such a hypocrite. His comedy films... Oh, excuse me. His comedy films just got worse after Hangover, and that's it. Quit whining, Phillips, and get over it. Exactly. Exactly. Like, and if you want to break, and if you need a comment that breaks the mold of PC culture, be a man, man. Come on. Be a man. Grow a pair. Just do it. Stop complaining about freaking SJWs and woke culture. Just do your freaking comedies. Don't be, don't be a sissy, man. Don't be a sissy. Be a man, man. Be a man. Be a man. Come on. Make offensive jokes, man. Alright, let's see now. I still really want to see Joker, although this comment has nothing to do with the story in general, but I saw a tweet about this subject where it cut off at the worst place. It reads, Todd Phillips responds Joker outcry by saying, and in the day and age, there is a massive racism versus penguins of Madagascar meme. Allow you to fill in the bit. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I can imagine where it could go so wrong. Yeah, he said N ... I was like, are you sure you want the internet to fill in the blanks? Because there is a certain N word that they will first think about and just place it right there. Just a little warning. Like, I think to paraphrase the Joker in The Dark Knight, very fittingly, very poor choice of letters. Okay. Alright, now, for our next story, though, we're going to be going into something a little bit more lighthearted. Yes, this time, we're gonna go into some fun, and I'll say right now that the next stories, they won't be as controversial, they won't be bad, and you won't hear me rant or be angry or what have you. For our next story that we have over here, this is actually going to be related to an animated movie that I've actually reviewed not too long ago. Well, a few months ago. You might remember, like, if you have watched my videos, then you might recall that I have reviewed a certain animated film, a small animated film, by the name of The Point, which is a 1971 animated feature based on the album by Harry Nilsson of the same name. So it's a little bit similar to something like Pink Floyd's The Wall or the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. And I remember, it's not the best animated film, but, you know, looking back at it, I do feel like it was actually very charming. It was actually pretty likable. And even though it has a problem with pacing, and it looks like it has a very Hanna-Barbera-esque budget, you know, it is still very nice. It's still very creative, has a good message, you know, and especially great voice acting as well, especially when one of the voice actors they got involved is the legendary Paul Frees, one of my favorite voice actors. I feel like it actually did, you know, it's charming. It's very nice. And it seems that right now, it'll soon make a little bit of a comeback in the form of a Blu-ray. Yes, MVD Rewind Collection has announced that on February 2020, they will be releasing what is said to be the Ultimate Edition of The Point. Which, by the way, this version that they are going to be releasing is going to be the one with narration by Ringo Starr. And oh my god, I remember Ringo Starr in the movie. Like, pretty much he has a very repetitive role where every time we see him, like, yeah, he'll have his narration role, but like sometimes like he'll have little breaks on the side like, oh wow, that is an amazing story. This is a great story. Let me tell you, son, this is the best story since the Bible. Yeah, sure, Dad, that's pretty cool. All right, that's nice. Okay, thanks, Dad. Shut up, son, because there is more to tell in this story. Listen to me now. Peace and love. Alright, but for those of you who are not familiar, let me read you a little bit of the synopsis of The Point, which is coming from my source here on blu-ray.com, and it states, years ago there was a place called the Land of the Point, because everything in the Land of the Point had one. The barns, the houses, the cars, everything, even the people. Everyone, that is, except Oblio, the main character, who was born round-headed. Since he has no point, Oblio, along with his trusty dog, Arrow, was banished to the pointless forest. Join them to see what wonders await these two interpretive travelers as they make their way on their amazing song-filled journey of discovery. So that's basically the main plot of The Point, and you see that he would go and meet numerous of weird characters, including this tree man, a jazz smooth talking rock dude. Then you got like the Cheshire Cat character, where you got this this guy who has like 3 different faces and has a hat that's like literally pointing everywhere. Like, I don't know, the man with, I think he's called like the man with no point. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen it. And like so much more. But I think the real beauty of this Blu-ray of The Point is that this thing is going to be jam-packed with so many different bonus features. And I'm going to read you each and every single one of them. So it actually states here, now, the first thing, of course, is actually the movie itself, which is going to be a new 2K remaster from 16mm elements in the original 1.371 aspect ratio. And then there's also The Kid's Got a Point, an interview with Mike Lookinland, who was the voice of Oblio. Then there's also That Old Guy Wrote the Point, a conversation with screenwriter Norm Lenzer. Then there's also Everybody's Got a Point, which features Kiefer Nielsen and Bobby Halvorsen on adapting the point. There we go. And then after that, there's going to be a 60-minute documentary called Nielsen on Screen. Biographer Alan Shipton and friends of Harry Nilsson's film projects and appearances. And then there's going to be some older bonus features, including a 4-part 30-minute documentary series, or 27-minute documentary series, called The Making of the Point. It also comes with a collectible mini poster, and also, in terms of the audio selections that you can have, you can listen to it in 5.1 surround sound, 2.0 surround stereo sound, and also an optional English subtitles. And holy crap, as a Blu-ray collector myself, I just gotta say that what MVD Rewind Collection has so far done for this is absolutely beautiful. Like, not only that you get a remastered version and a beautiful version of the movie itself, which it seems that they're taking very special care of the visuals, but also at the same time, especially with the audio, considering that is a major factor to this, especially the fact that this is based on a album, first of all. But on top of that, we also got a wide selection of really, like, long and substance-filled bonus features. Like, each and every single one of them, they actually have a pretty good length on them. Like, you got some that are, like, the shortest ones are literally just 15 minutes long, and then you got, like, a 17-minute one, you got the hour-long documentary, and then, like, you got the older ones, which accumulates to almost 30 minutes. It really does offer so much to you, and for me, I gotta say, as I stated before, it's not a great animated feature. It does have its problems, but I would say this is a little bit of an underrated gem. I really do feel like this is something that, for some people, it would be worth checking out, because it is a charming movie. You know, like, it is something that people could actually get out of this, and there is a bit of admiration in terms of the creativity that's been put in there. Not only with the way that the album mixes with the storyline, but also with some of the creativity that's actually been involved, because there are some more abstract and psychedelic segments where you would see like little music videos that would go with some of the Harry Nilsson songs. So honestly, I feel like for fans of Harry Nilsson, this is definitely going to be like a must own. And for those of you who don't know, like, probably the most popular song that I can think of on the top of my head by Harry Nilsson, of course, like, the most popular one from this is Me and My Arrow, that is very well known. But there is also, like, probably his most popular one would have to be Put the Lime in the Coconut. Like, you know, you put the lime in the coconut to drink it all up. Put the lime in the coconut. Yeah, that's him. So, honestly, on that regard, for people who love Harry Nilsson, they gotta go check this out. But if you have the opportunity to find it in the store, I highly recommend to go and get it, because, like, you would definitely get so much out of this. And even for me, like, honestly, I would actually consider to go and get this. I did like The Point. I did like the movie. So, honestly, I would definitely consider to go and actually get it myself. If I do see this in a store, if I do see, like, you can get, like, The Point Ultimate Edition, I would be happy to go and buy this. I would be like, you know what, why not? It's worth to be a part of my collection, and I'm interested to see what bonus features that they would have in store. Now, this thing is not going to be coming out for a while, though. We still have to wait, because it's stated that apparently it will be released on February 11th, 2020, but you know what? I might be interested in getting this. This actually does seem like a pretty fascinating Blu-ray. Like, not only would you get a pretty underrated gem and, a nice little piece of music history and animation history, but also you would get really your entire fill of both The Point and of Harry Nilsson. So for me, I would say it's definitely worth it. And I highly recommend you go and check out The Point. Or at the very least, I guess I could do a stupid self-plug-in, but in case, like, if you can't get it yourself right now, you can always go and check out my review of it. I already did a review, and I promise it is a review where I do express my thoughts on it. I'm not gonna go and make some kind of 40-minute rock opera that's just making fun of all the things that's in there and just save the actual reviewing portion with, oh, it's okay. It seems pretentious, but yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to know, what do you all think about this Point Blu-ray? Is it something that you guys would be interested in getting? And if you guys have actually seen the Point, let me know what are your thoughts on the movie. I would be pretty interested to know. Actually, better question. I want to know if I'm the only one here who has actually seen the Point in the first place. Because I'm actually surprised that it actually was from a Patreon request. So I know I can't be the only one. But I want to know if I'm the only one here who has actually seen the Point. Let's see. I didn't expect the Point out of all films to be on Blu-ray. I probably won't buy the movie, but it will probably look nice on Blu-ray. There should be a Blu-ray of the Phantom Tollbooth movie, since that film has similar concepts to the Point. I don't think the movie will do well in Blu-ray sales, since not a lot of people will know about the movie's existence. Also, if you were to upgrade your top 10 underrated animated movies list, where will you place this on the list? The Point? Honestly, not really. I wouldn't. I mean, there are still plenty that I would. I mean, like, the underrated list, it was pretty tough to go and put down. And there are plenty of other animated films that I would consider highly underrated, but didn't make it on my list. Like, Surf's Up is a prominent example, and something that I will keep on saying, that it definitely is a highly underrated film, and definitely one of Sony Animation's best films next to Spider-Verse. Let's see, what else do we got here? Let's see. I wish I could get it, but I don't have a Blu-ray player. But I do have a PS4, which functions the same as a Blu-ray. And I wish to show this to my parents, even if I get my hands on it. By the way, do you know that the director of The Point also directed much of the 1987 TMNT cartoon? Oh, Fred Wolf! Yeah, you know, the funny thing is that I wasn't, honestly, I kind of drew a blank about what else did Fred Wolf do? Because I know that he has done some stuff, and it even mentioned here that Fred Wolf actually did win an Oscar, most likely for Best Animated Short, but yeah, like, that is a pretty interesting fact to go and share. Let's see now, I'll go and read, maybe one more. No, and by the way, for your PS4, I think PS4s do play Blu-rays, though. I think that is something that a PS4 can actually do. So you could still get a Blu-ray and you could play it. And also, I wouldn't be surprised, though, that if the Point would also be, if you would get the Point, then you wouldn't just get it on Blu-ray. Like, usually with these collections, or usually with these, with stuff like this, they would also come with a DVD. So, like, you could still get it and you could still play it on DVD. Let's see now. As I was saying, let's see here. Oh, here we go. I'm not a music fan, but I do know that these are very imaginative. I've been thinking about seeing Pink Floyd's The Wall, not because I'm a Pink Floyd fan, but because I saw the Nostalgia Critic review, and it's horrifying. Yes, I know. In fact, many people are saying the Nostalgia Critic review is horrifying. No, I'm not gonna lie, though. Honestly, like, especially nowadays, that because of how the Nostalgia Critic kind of put the spotlight on The Wall inadvertently, while also sacrificing some of his credibility and reputation while doing it, it did make me a little bit interested as well to check out The Wall for myself. Like, I have been getting a lot of requests to go and review it myself, which I promise, if I ever do a review on The Wall, it will be better than a Nostalgia Critic, and it wouldn't be 40 minutes long. But from there, I am definitely interested to see, like, what this movie is all about, because, like, I've really been hearing a lot about it, and I want to see for myself about what it is. So, let's see. Is there any more? Okay, no, I think we can move on to the next thing. Okay, so with that said, though, now we shall go on to the grand finale, and there is one more story that I have to share with you all. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit of a last minute addition. This is a little bit unexpected, I gotta say, because this just happened last night that they revealed it. And I didn't expect that out of all of their properties, that Disney would go and try to make another shot at this. That they want to make another live action movie with this film. And honestly, my first reaction when I saw this thing is just, no! I gotta get out of here. Yes, and what I'm talking, of course, is about Inspector Gadget. Disney has officially revealed that they are currently in production in making another live-action film adaptation of the 1980s animated series Inspector Gadget. Now, it is still very early in development, but they did get a few people attached to go and work on the project. First of which is actually the producers Dan Lin and Jonathan Irich, in which they have previously collaborated in making the live-action remake of Aladdin. But also on top of that, they actually got some writers, where they got Saturday Night Live writers Mikey Day and Streeter Seidel to work on the script. And just on a side note right now, I would like to add that both Day and Seidel, they are currently both working on making a reboot of Home Alone for Disney+. Now, for those of you who are not necessarily familiar with Inspector Gadget, I'm just going to read you a quick little summary here on The Hollywood Reporter as it states. Gadget was an American-Canadian co-production produced for Syndicate Market that was a staple around North America in the 1980s and 1990s. It features a bionic Inspector Clouseau type who would command, okay, he couldn't, and command an endless array of gizmos built into his body. His archenemy was Dr. Claw, leader of an organization named MAD, or MAD. Also figuring in the proceedings was Penny, Gadget's niece and the brains behind him, who actually stopped Claw's plan. There was also Brain, Penny's crafty dog, and Chief Quimby. And no, not Chief, not the same. Wait, is it? Oh no, wait. I was thinking, for a moment I was thinking it's like, oh, you mean like in The Simpsons? No. Like The Simpsons is Mayor Quimby. No, it's Chief. Oh no, wait. The Simpsons is Chief Wiggum. Okay, there we go. I almost got my Simpsons characters messed up. Now, honestly, I feel like I got some pretty mixed reactions about this. Because here's the thing. On one hand, out of all the Disney properties that you want to go and adapt, you want to go and do Inspector Gadget again? Especially after that attempt that you tried to do back in, what was it, 1999? I think it mentions here. Yeah, back in 1999, the movie with Matthew Broderick, which was pretty heavily panned by critics, and then made a pretty crappy direct-to-DVD sequel. Like, it's been a while since I saw that one, but I remembered as a kid that the sequel was just full of garbage. I'm not gonna lie. As a kid, I used to watch the 1999 movie quite often, around the same time that I would also go and watch the Inspector Gadget series. And even when I was a kid, I even recognized that some of the things in there were pretty dumb. And I don't mean Inspector Gadget, but more so because of that stupid car. Like, if you saw the live-action Inspector Gadget movie, you might remember, like, there's this dumb car sidekick that's supposed to be, like, Gadget's comic relief car, like, Cabby the Cab or something like that. It's like, hey, Gadget, what's happening, buddy? Here, let me make you drive. I'm gonna go and spew out some pop culture references along the way. That kind of dumb thing. Oh, boy. I did not. I think even as a kid, I did not like that car. Like, yeah, maybe I like Matthew Broderick's Gadget, and maybe I also really liked Rupert Everett's interpretation of Claw. Like, that was actually pretty fun, but that car, man, that was just dumb, even for kids. It's like that thing is just, oh, good God, pretty, like even nowadays, like, just thinking about it is pretty cringy. So honestly, like, even after that attempt, I'm honestly shocked that Disney would go and try to do Inspector Gadget again. I mean, like, the thing is, I know that Disney is really on a massive trend on trying to adapt animated properties and turn them into live-action films. But really, Inspector Gadget? You want to go and do that? Like, after you've done, like, The Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Inspector Gadget. Like, I don't know. Even for casual viewers, even for the people that would commonly go and check out the Disney live action remakes, even they would feel like, one of these things are definitely not like the other. So I don't know, like, making another one just feels absolutely strange. But then again, there are some positives that I can also imagine from this. Like, I can actually, like, maybe this could work. You never know. I could be wrong, and this could actually turn out to be a great film. And especially nowadays, like, especially with how technology on visual effects, like, they have massively grown and they have gotten so much better. You never know if Inspector Gadget could end up becoming, like, a satire on Iron Man with the kind of visual quality of Iron Man, where you would see Inspector Gadget just lampooning his way with all his crazy gadgets, just unleashing, like, so many different things literally coming out of his hat or coming out of his arms and coming out of his sleeves, like, just to do, like, these weird practical gags and maybe bring out some cool action scenes against the organizers of MAD. Like, that could actually work out, and it could actually go and give a chance to go and create a more faithful adaptation of Inspector Gadget, something that could be more close to the animated series instead of something like the animated the live action movie from 1999, where they pretty much went off and did basically just a satire of the $6 Million Man. I'm sure, like, yeah, technically that's what Inspector Gadget is in general, but mostly tried to do, I guess the best way to put it is to try to make their own Inspector Gadget, like, never seeing the cartoons, and try to create something that they think is Inspector Gadget, which somehow somehow for some reason talking about this magically just popped up in my head, which somehow one thing I guess Inspector Gadget has to do is literally squeeze the balls of a yoga master. That somehow somehow we have to have a scene with Inspector Gadget and a yoga master trying to relax, and then suddenly one thing led to another, and Inspector Gadget stretched his arms in order to squeeze the balls of the yoga master to make him have a chipmunk voice going, you know, just try to do something like that. Oh god, man, what the fridge were they the more I think about it, the more I look back at that Inspector Gadget movie thinking, what the fridge were these guys thinking? Oh my god. The one good thing that I can say, though, about the Inspector Gadget movie is that I will admit, it does have a really, really cool opening. Like, that opening, and especially the opening title, like the song of it, is actually really, really awesome. I'll give them credit on that. But you never know. Maybe this is what Inspector Gadget needs. They need to do they probably need to do like an updated version in order to make things right, to actually have a good live action Inspector Gadget movie. And maybe we would need it for the modern age, and maybe they can adapt it pretty well to make something epic. But then again, that really is going to depend on how much Disney is willing to go and invest on it. Because maybe Disney could go and they'll put a lot of money on it, but make it actually a big budget feature to have it be released in theaters. But then again, there is also a part of me, considering that this is something that not many people are really asking for nowadays, that I can imagine Disney giving them a low budget, and this could just be something released on Disney+. Now, this is something that it didn't necessarily specify if it's either going to be in theaters or if they're just going to release it on Disney+. But I do feel like with the very low demand of another live-action Inspector Gadget movie, and especially the fact that they're bringing on board the same writers that are working on the Home Alone reboot, I feel, the same people who are writing the Home Alone reboot for Disney+, I feel like there's a very strong chance that this is going to be the same thing. That we're going to see the comeback of Inspector Gadget, but only on Disney Plus and not necessarily on the big screen. That is honestly my feeling. That I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a stronger chance of that happening, more so than there is like just Inspector Gadget being in theaters. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. It is still very early in development, but we'll see what happens with this Inspector Gadget movie. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to know, what do you all think about this idea of an Inspector Gadget live action film? A new Inspector Gadget live action film. Do you think it's a great idea? Is this honestly something that you guys want? Is it something that you don't really want? Let me know what you all think now. Let's see. The live-action Inspector Gadget movies were okay in my opinion, but I am honestly sold on the announcement of a remake of the 1999 film. Hopefully they can make things better by updating the CGI and finding the right actors for Gadget, Brain, and Penny. I'm just wondering what it would be like if Jim Carrey played Gadget like he played Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movie. I mean, yeah, Inspector Gadget Jim Carrey could be a good idea for Inspector Gadget, but I guess that could also be another major factor. It's like, which actors can you get to play, like, Inspector Gadget? Because I'm sure that's also going to be another major factor to see if people would actually be interested. Either if they're going to get a great comedian, or if maybe they might not get someone who would seemingly fit the role. They could end up getting another Matthew Broderick. Let's see. I'll keep my head high for this project. Technology has evolved pretty well, and some effects for those other live-action Inspector Gadget has, aged a bit. So maybe this will be a big improvement. And that other live-action Inspector Gadget and its sequel, let's just flush it down the toilet. And also AniMat, who would be the best actor for Gadget and Dr. Claw for this remake? Oh god, I honestly have no clue. I mean, Dr. Claw, like, it would actually be really cool if we could still keep Dr. Claw hidden, because with Dr. Claw throughout the show, I know that he's literally, you literally only see his arm that's resting on his chair. So honestly, let's keep him hidden, and we could keep Frank Welker to be the voice of Dr. Claw. As for Inspector Gadget, oh boy, that's gonna be a tough choice. I don't know. Okay. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna sound insane, but I think honestly, this could work. Adam Sandler. Now, I know, it sounds pretty insane. It's like, oh great, you're gonna bring in Adam Sandler and you'll turn this into a Happy Madison movie, but think about it. You think of the personality that Inspector Gadget has throughout the show, and you think about Adam Sandler. I can actually see that work. I can actually see Adam Sandler work out pretty well. Some people are saying Paul Rudd. That is also a good suggestion, but honestly, I can actually imagine that in the right hands, with the right kind of script, Adam Sandler can actually pull off a pretty good and pretty convincing Inspector Gadget. Like, just think about it. Like, just think, like, really think about it. It could actually make some sense. You never know. I don't know. I feel like that can actually work out. Let's see. What else do we got here? Let's see. Maybe someone else. I feel mixed about this. It could work, but we have the 1999 movie, which proves this is unnecessary. I also remember when you put this movie in the top 10 worst movies based on a cartoon. Oh, right. Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, my God. Is it... I think it's been... I think it's ever since that film... I think it's ever since making that list, the last time I've legit seen the Inspector Gadget movie. Oh, boy. Now, let's see now. This sounds like a dumb idea. The first movie was okay at best. I did like Matthew's performance as Inspector Gadget, but the sequel was horrendous. Almost all of the main characters were unbearable and overall dumb. This reboot has me worry even though I have never seen the animated series from DiC. By the way, what would DiC think about this news if they were still in business? If DiC were still in business, they would still have Inspector Gadget. I'm just saying. Okay, now I'll go and read one more comment. Honestly, there's plenty of potential for it to be a good movie and to have it be a strong comeback for the series. Plus, you'd think that people would want to see Disney try and remake some of their weaker live-action films, since there is a stronger chance of redemption. That could be a good point. And I think with all that said, that should conclude this special birthday episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And let me just say, everybody, thank you all so much for joining me. I know that this has been a pretty insane episode, even by this podcast standards, but it has definitely been a lot of fun, so I'm going to go back to my family for more birthday festivities. So once again, I just would like to say thank you all so much for watching, thank you all so much for listening, and tune in for more crazy episodes to come. And until next time, see you later, dudes!